are not necessarily there to help young people. You understand? They are not there to cut that line of unemployment. They are just there to to make it worse. I feel like
because the world is changing, because the world is moving this way, it's moving at a fast rate. We also have to adapt, right? We
yeah.
need to adapt to the new ways. We
Mm.
can't be left behind. But also, and also, it becomes your responsibility to learn and to keep up with the
Yeah.
time. It becomes your responsibility. There are a lot of courses.
A lot of corruption goes in with this because a lot of us has faced this or has gone through this whereby we do apply online and then nothing happens, but then we find someone else is being employed with your qualification.
South Africans are entitled, right? So apart from not wanting to also seem entitled, it's also your duty some way to make sure that you also keep up with the times.
Welcome back to another episode, everybody. This is our safe space. Thank you, safe space fam, for always supporting us. I'm your boy Pamela, aka Pims, and you know I'm not riding solo. I am always with the first lady in Tabi in the building.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of our safe space. And you know, as always, I am so happy to be here. Yeah.
I'm also happy to be here. It's been a while and we are back. I feel like we're always back now, but we are here and we are doing it for everyone and we are doing it for the country, for the city, for the whatever. How are you?
I am a little tired, but I am good.
I'm exhausted, bro. Like I'm so tired. But you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. In today's episode, guys, we will be discussing the impact of digital systems on unemployment and the ongoing challenges of corruption. Very deep, very personal, very struggling,
Yo.
and I feel like everything that we do in this world, it has its ups and then it has its downside. So, what do you think about that?
I feel like it's more like it's real for me personally. It's real because it's something that a lot of people are experiencing. Not a lot
Yeah,
of people talk about it,
yeah,
but they are experiencing it. Even now with the whole application of, I think it's SANDF. There's like a whole lot of, most things are now like applications. Job applications are online.
yeah.
There's a lot of online systems that are put in place, which makes it difficult for most people to even apply. You know, if you don't have internet access, then it seems like you're being excluded. You know, so yeah, it's an ongoing challenge for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
when you say like I now when you say something like when you don't have internet, not everyone has like Wi-Fi, Boma Wi-Fi and all this stuff, and not everyone has data and has money to buy airtime or data. So like the the poorest of the people, like the people that's living below that line, um, the like the ones who are really struggling and the ones who really feel everything, the ones who are below are the ones who's actually like has it more challenging because now imagine now everything being so digitalized. Now where do you go to apply? How do you even start to seek employment? You know, and some of them don't even have phones to begin with.
Some of them don't have it to run to print out a copy of their CVs.
Exactly.
What about data?
So like I feel like also the world has changed and it's changing and it's evolving and we know as human beings it's evolving and we as they say we're going or we are in the fourth industrial revolution, you know, but do you feel like as South Africa being an African country and us being in Africa, do you think we are ready for this digital world that the rest of like let me say the Western world is going into?
No, I don't think that we are ready for that because bear in mind there are also people who live in the villages, people who live in the rural areas. There's a lot of connectivity issues in those areas. So we first have to fix things like that. We have to fix a lot of things. I wanted to say something. I want to say we can. I want to say government can barely fix the roads, the potholes. So what about the internet and systems like that? So I don't think we're ready for that.
I also don't think we're ready for that because of like as you said, like the people who live in the and I said like the people who live like below that line of 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 you know standards of living. You know, like they are the ones who feel this more than anyone else because of like imagine you don't even have electricity to begin with, you don't have a light bulb to begin with. How do you start applying for jobs? How do you start putting in CVs? Because a lot of places now are has gone digital wise. Even like jobs like retail, it's digital. Even jobs like like not even corporate jobs, like jobs that were a lot of people. had access to back in the day is now digital, and people are being left behind, and certain people are being excluded. And I feel like, as you said, like the government, I don't want to say the government, man, but I feel like a certain group is being monitored and a certain group is being like catered for. Because I feel like this digital system, as much as the world is changing and we're moving in a different direction, but when we come back to us being African and the challenges that we face in Africa as a whole, I feel like now, us going into this direction, we are literally putting other people behind, and we are just catering for other people. You know, for people who have electricity, people who have running water, people who have uh, money to pay their bills, like for electricity and all this stuff. I feel like those people are being prioritized now, because now it's like this digital system is made for
For
them.
them. It's like already the people who are already ahead are being put ahead.
Ahead again.
They're being pushed further ahead.
Yeah.
The ones who are already behind are
Are
getting
still,
further
and now they're
behind.
getting pushed away further and further. Yeah. So I feel like that's something that we needed to work. Like I feel like that's something like it's especially in South Africa. They like when they went the digital route, they should have had a conversation about these factors. Like, what about the people who live in rural areas? What about the people who don't have electricity? They're still living in the dark ages whereby they use candlelight. What about those people? How do they get accessible, or how do they access these things that are now being put in place? And the world is moving in this way. How do we incorporate everyone so that everyone can actually be part of this journey, and then we all move together? So I feel like that wasn't I feel like it wasn't thought like right,
Well
because
thought out.
yeah, because even like a lot of young people right now also, a lot of corruption goes in with this, because a lot of us has faced this or has gone through this, whereby we do apply online and then nothing happens, but then we find someone else is being employed with your qualification. You understand? Then they just make sure that they just take away your name or your number, your email, and then they put that person. It's easy like that.
And if they're using the digital system, it becomes easier to blame it on the system. Oh no, we are using a new system.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong with it. It's faulty, whatever. Whereas there
It's
could be someone,
offline.
yes, whereas there could be someone behind closed doors who's actually doing these things, and you don't know about it. And you, because you don't really know what's going on with the new system that's in place, you accept that as the truth. Okay, no, it's a new system. Maybe it really there are some glitches. No, it happens. It's technology. But then that's where corruption comes in. It becomes easier to just do things without other people noticing, without you even thinking too much about it. They get away with it actually.
Yeah, because a lot of it is like closed doors. It's closed doors. A lot of it it's more now. It's like it's more. I feel like it's more secretive now, and it's made more people who are in these positions of making these decisions. It's made them easier for them to get away with certain things that they do.
They
that
become
are not,
invisible.
yeah, that are not right. Like I said, they can employ someone literally using your qualification. They could just take your name of your own CV, take your number of your CV, take your email account from your CV, and then just put someone else's name on there, or someone that paid even to get this job. You understand? For me, I feel like young people in this country, for me personally, this is like me, my personal opinion. I feel like they will never, for as long as young people is not a priority in this country, for as long as young people are not being taken serious and young people don't take themselves serious, we are never gonna unemployment is never gonna go down. It's always gonna rise, because of like the systems that are put in place are not necessarily there to help young people. You understand? They are not there to cut that line of unemployment. They are just there to like to make it worse. I feel like that's what it is, because of you cannot say like, no, the country is gonna go in a better direction, or there's hope. There's no hope. As long as there's no hope for the youth, there's no hope for the future. There is no future, because the youth already is the future. And if there's no hope for the youth, there's no future. There's no future in this country. I'm just sorry. That's just the reality that we're gonna go into. And I feel like the more we blame like certain people or certain companies or organizations or whatever, it's not gonna get better. I feel like young people should just take everything in charge for themselves. Take everything and just run with it.
Mm.
See, so if you probably have a story about your unemployment and this digital system and the corruption around it. So please just let us know. And Tabileng has a story to tell, but she doesn't
I
want
don't.
to tell.
Himalayan story to
I
tell.
don't have one. Like I'm over
Neither
it.
do I.
So like yeah. So what do you think can be done?
Like in terms of, okay, I feel like more because now we are already in this age where everything is being
Digitalized.
digitalized. It's hard to also take it back because firstly, it does also make life easier, but also it makes it difficult for others, right? Like you said, there are people who are benefiting from this, which actually makes their lives easier. But then for the people who don't have access to internet, who can't afford it, they can literally just have Wi-Fi points or free Wi-Fi access at maybe like a public library which offers free Wi-Fi. I don't know. I don't know. I think the public library in town offers has free Wi-Fi, but you can use it only for like a few, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that. With a number. So things like that could be put into place, like maybe at a local library, local communities, I don't know, youth centers. Because there was a time where I went to, I don't know what this name of the place is, but it's like a village. And they had one of the people, they actually said that they have a they have Wi-Fi. So like in the neighborhood they have like a Wi-Fi. It doesn't work as efficiently or as effectively
But
actually,
it's there.
but it's there. So they have a certain level of access to it, but it doesn't work as better. So these are things that they can actually be put in place, like yeah, public Wi-Fi's, and maybe yeah, developing youth centers, developing community, I don't know, halls or whatever, like
Yeah.
libraries, so that people can have access to that. And then yeah, when it comes to employment, it also does make jobs or yeah, jobs easier, makes your job easy because you don't have to file that much anymore. It
Go through
saves
a
us of,
pile of paper.
yeah, it saves paper, so no more trees that are being cut down, for example. It saves
Save nature.
paper, it saves time, it saves, instead of having to dig through piles and piles of papers, it just makes it
You
easier for
just
you to
go.
just retrieve information quite easily. So there are benefits to it, but there's also, like, everything has pros and cons. Like you said, everything has ups and downs, good and
Yeah,
bad.
for
So
everything in life, if it's a up, there is a downside
downside
of
to it,
it.
but also looking at the state of our economy, and also looking at what the unemployment rate in South Africa, I personally feel like we can't really afford to have people being replaced with
Technology.
technology, with AI systems, with all of that, because there are people who actually do need jobs. What's going to happen to somebody if you replace them with a machine? What is going to happen to that person? What happens to their lifestyle? What happens to their family? There's a lot to think
What
about and to
happens to
consider.
human beings, bro?
What happens to human beings? That's how the crime start to increase, because now somebody is there, they don't know what to do with their lives because they had a job a few years ago. Now they must go and
Yes,
fend for
everyone.
themselves. And I'm not condoning crime. It's not. I don't condone it. I'm just saying there's a lot that happens when there's a lot of repercussions for anything and everything.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that. I also feel like if this is the route and this is the future that we're going into, and everything becomes so broadly digitalized, I feel like systems must be put in place whereby people who don't have access to the internet, who don't have access to Wi-Fi or things like that, there should be um, put resources put in place for them so that they can also have access to the like free Wi-Fi, like you said, like free internet, like. But I don't think people use libraries like that anymore. But now libraries, since people don't use their libraries like that for books anymore, they can start using it for the internet now. You understand?
Exactly.
If
Yes.
libraries can get more internet, free internet for the communities, especially underprivileged communities. Now that people can get a chance to use and make use of the community libraries. Yeah. So I also think like stuff like that should be in place because of we in South Africa, we live in a very, like you said, the state of our economy. Like like majority of the people in this country are the poorest. Like majority of us are poor in this country. It's just a minority of people who are actually above the what's this social what's this like
Mm-hmm.
standard of living, you know, like it's just the minority of people who are above it. And I feel like also like these systems will be put in place so that people can actually be helped, and you know, like so that people can also be able to apply for jobs, you know, because a lot of people are unemployed. It's not only the youth. I have met a lot of older people who are also unemployed, you know, and who for them it's even harder to find employment because they are already at a certain age. So but they also have families to feed, you understand. And I've met people who live off social grants, you know, and they also like you can like have you ever seen like a household where there's like more than 6 people in that house and none of them
On an
is employed?
income.
You understand? It's a terrible thing, you understand? And it's very very scary to live in a state like that, you know, where you just focused on and your only source of income is the social grant, and
Which is
it's
also
not
not
even enough.
enough.
So yeah, so I feel like yeah, a lot of like we, as much as South Africans want to go to this, as much as South Africa is heading into this digital world, we should put places and we should put in um, resources where we can make it equal for everyone, you know. And honestly, what you also said is true. I don't think South Africa is ready for AI. A lot of people are unemployed in this country. What's going to happen to the ongoing people who are already unemployed, you know? And as I said, like if there is no hope for the youth, there is no hope for the future, because if the future is going to be AI, like like as you said, like crimes is going to go higher. We don't condone crime, but it's just the reality of it. Crime is high right now because of unemployment is high right now. You understand? So yeah, I feel like as much as we do talk about this, and I feel like young people are not really being taken serious in this country. And I feel like at some point, as young people, we need to stand up for ourselves. We need to make it happen for ourselves. We need to take charge for ourselves. Because to be honest, these people who are in power and who has the capacity to make decisions and are in these positions of power, they are older than us and they have had their time and they have lived. No, honestly, they don't care that much about us. So it's it's in our own interest to take it upon ourselves to be like we don't want to live like this and we don't want to head into a future like this, and we have to take charge for ourselves.
Can I quickly just play devil's advocate? You can also say that also because the world is changing, because the world is moving this way, it's moving at a fast rate, we also have to adapt, right? We
Yeah.
need to adapt to the new ways. We
Mm.
can't be left behind. But also, and also it becomes your responsibility to learn and to keep up with the
Yeah.
time. It becomes your responsibility. There are a lot of courses that they say, I think UJ has, I have never taken the initiative myself to do this, but UJ has a course in I think it's called FIR intelligence, something like that. FI intelligence, yes, something like that. But like those are the things that they'll bring forth. Like you can learn these things so you can keep up with the times. But then it also again becomes beneficial to those who have access to it. If you don't have access to that, then you can't learn because there's a lot of certifications on how you can learn. I don't know, AI, the basics of what like literally the 101s of all of that, like new technology. But so at some degree, yes, because I'm listening to us have this conversation and it seems like yes, we are saying this and we like no, I don't know, people should be provided with internet access and Wi-Fi and all that. It may also seem like entitlement, which is the word that comes up, that's always like thrown around. Like South Africans are entitled, right? So apart from not wanting to also seem entitled, it's also your duty some way to make sure that you also keep up with the times. But it's hard to keep up with the times if you don't have the resources. It's hard to keep up with the times if you don't have what you literally need, which is internet access. When you can't barely buy bread, but you're expected to buy, yes, you're expected to buy data, but you don't have bread. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose between buying bread, sleeping with your tummy full, or getting the necessary skills that you might need?
And then the regret that comes after that also.
Exactly. So it's
What if
also
you don't get a place in there? What if even if you use that last money for data and you apply for a job and then you don't
it's
even
not
get called
guaranteed that you
for an
get
interview?
in. It's not guaranteed that you get in, like you said, how people's qualifications are being used for other people, and there's also that where also people who also do who do these things don't also think about how you could be taking somebody else's
You don't know that person's livelihood
Yes, you're taking food from someone's
situation.
mouth. You yeah, so yeah, there's that too. There's a lot that goes into. There's a lot that's it's deeper than what meets the eye.
Yeah,
It's
I
much
feel
more
like
deeper.
there's like it's like a broad conversation, and it has a lot of pros and cons in it, and it has a lot of like it's like it's a conversation that can go on and on and on and on and on. And I also feel like as much as a lot of young people don't make use of TVET colleges right now because they feel like it's so, I don't know, like they think like when you go there people would say like you didn't finish school or something like that. I want to say this: the world is not gonna wait for you. And if you cannot, if you like applying for university, you see that at uni level you're not being accepted, like you're not going under or anything, just try to get something, some qualification, so that you can actually be qualified, or some skill that you can learn, you understand, to make yourself employable. Because of the big question also was a lot of young people are not employable because a lot of young people don't have necessary skills. They don't have skills. They've never learned a skill or anything in their life. You understand? Not all of them, but most of them, because of they feel like, I feel like TVET colleges right now are starting to become, people are becoming aware of how it could help and how much it's playing a role in people's lives. So I feel like people should also make use of TVET colleges. People should use of also make use of any certain resources that's available and suck it like a sponge as much
But
as you can.
what if Tibet colleges doesn't offer something that you are more strong in? Let's put it like that. I don't want to say passionate in that because that is very tricky. Something that you
What
strong in. Let's say maybe that I know that they do offer.
like I know like that name, but do you know that sometimes sometimes you grow into it. I'm not saying like I should
Force yourself to do
force
something.
yourself to do something that you don't want to do or that you necessarily don't want to be in it. A lot of people right now are so qualified that work jobs that they don't want to work.
Okay, so you're saying you can grow into it, meaning example, let's say I don't know, like I feel like I don't know anything about economics, right? So maybe I could take, I don't know, financial management, for example, and then get into it. I don't know, maybe let's say I don't know what financial management actually entails, what it's about. But then I do decide to take it, I get in, they accept me. And then I get there and I actually find, oh, this is interesting. Now I start learning about things that actually are interesting. I didn't even know existed. Maybe, yeah, like I didn't know that this is what financial management is. So I think you could be right in the sense that sometimes we just look at something, you look at the name and be like, oh my gosh, financial management.
I feel like
You judge something just by the name of it and without
exactly,
actually knowing what it is about.
exactly.
So
That's why I feel like that's what happens with TVET colleges. A lot of people when they see TVET, TVET college or whatever, they feel like, oh, like who's gonna see me there already? They already charge it. You understand? And like I said, like okay, fine, like I said, you could be applying for uni, but then uni doesn't accept you. The thing that you feel like you're passionate about, you being rejected to it. Now, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit around. Or you're gonna adapt and learn something new until you find yourself in a space whereby you could actually do what you actually wanted to do. It's not a thing of like forcing someone to do something that they don't want to do, but it's also to keep yourself busy.
and
It's like
also
learning something
being
new,
open to something new.
exploring. You understand? Like you could be like, financial management, and then you wanted to be a doctor, but they don't accept you at what's this, at medical school. And then like after studying financial management, you don't even circle to get a job. Then you get a job, you understand? Now you have like resources, now you get an income. Now you can pay yourself now to go to medical school. Now you can afford it. You understand? You can afford like you can fund your own dream.
I feel like it's usually people say things like take whatever job you can get until you can get the job that you want. Right?
Yeah.
We say that a lot about jobs, but we hardly say enough about courses, like what you're
Courses and
saying right now.
studying
Yeah,
yeah.
it's rare to hear somebody say, no, you could study this and then later on pivot and get into this and then this could be a study.
Because like
whatever.
what are you gonna do now? It's like the same thing as like you go to uni or even college, and then you apply, and then the course that you are passionate about, something that you told yourself, yeah, when I'm done with school, this is what I'm gonna do. When you get there, it's full. What are you gonna do? turn and go home just because there's no space for you. You have to do what you have to do. So you like, so are you just gonna say, nah, there's no space for me, I'm gonna wait for next year? What guarantees you that next year there's gonna be space for you? If there's no space for you at the moment where you felt like, I'm doing this right now.
And right now, it's actually so difficult to get into university.
Exactly.
It's become so competitive. Besides just getting your marks up, there's so much competition. There's like everybody's just hungry for that space, for success. So it's more like really, like you said, just trying to get into something that you never thought of. You know, just
it's a beautiful thing for people to be hungry for education.
mm-hmm.
But I also feel like we shouldn't subject ourselves to one thing, because of like, if you feel like you are here to do one thing in this world,
You're also limiting
you're
yourself.
limiting yourself to learning. You are excluding yourself from everything that you, from experiences that you could have had. You know, like for instance, with me, I've always wanted to do media, but I ended up doing something different because I found it interesting.
I also wanted to be a TV presenter, but not to be an actor.
Not like a TV presenter, but like I always wanted to do media. But then I felt like I met something different. I fell in love with it, and I liked it, you know. And like now I'm doing podcasting.
Which is still media.
I'm still constantly learning something new, and like I feel like the most successful people failed a million times in life. They failed and they were rejected like a million times. But it's the constant adapting and going and keeping it going that keeps it like
getting used to like rejection and be like, this can't stop, and just keeping at it.
Yeah, and learning new stuff, you know. I've met like there was this other lecturer of mine. He said he always wanted to be a doctor. He ended up studying law.
And you know, now that I'm this old, this young, actually, I'm just thinking about how in my younger days or whatever, when we talk about somebody who said, no, I wanted to be a doctor, now I'm a teacher, it's not, in your mind, it's more like, this person failed, Joe. You failed to do that. But in actual reality,
when you're growing, where you grow, the more you start understanding.
Yeah, you start to understand these things.
It's not how life works.
Exactly. What was
not how life works.
Yeah, that's not how life works, actually. It's just like,
and there was also this other lecturer. He was teaching me governance. He wanted to be, I think, a DJ. He ended up being a lecturer. That's how crazy the world it is. And then I know a DJ that wanted to work in a corporate world. So like it's like the more you limit yourself to new things, the more the world is gonna leave you behind. Because you're not ready to learn, you're not ready to fail. I failed a lot of times, guys.
I feel like that should also be that's the theme for me. What I take away from this is that do not limit yourself. Do not limit yourself to different opportunities. Just try and just, I don't know, spread your wings. Try and learn and try and just be open to so many things, different things, you know. Even if you do not like, don't excel in that thing, as long as you give it a try and then you learn something from it. There's always something to learn from anything and everything.
Yeah, I also feel like that. My whole thing from this whole thing is like, as much as you seek an employment and you feel like you are qualified to be employed, don't limit yourself to just being employed. You know, learn new things. You know, spread your wings, and stop living in fear. You know, fear is the first step to failure, and fear limits us from being successful. So that like the more you fear of, the more you scared and you have this fear in you, the more unsuccessful you become, because of, you have to take a risk at some point, and you have to risk everything at some point. So I feel like, as much as like the world is changing, we also need to change, and we also need to adapt, and we need to grow, and we need to stop living in a world where we constantly think what other people are thinking about us. Because let me be honest with you, me, I have like, what's the self-imposter syndrome? What do you say? I have imposter syndrome. I don't think myself as, I'm just like that guy. Like, I don't care. Even when I'm with other people, you just see, I don't behave. I don't have a certain way of behaving. Like, I never behave like a steering, like I'm a steering, or like, yeah. I'm just like that guy. I'm just that guy. And I feel like, for me, that has carried me so much because of I've met a lot of different people in this world, and I've learned, like everyone that I've met, I've always learned something from them, and I keep meeting new people, and I just learn and I just suck information because of I feel like also we need to open ourselves to learning and information, receiving information. As much as we want to give it, we must also receive information, and sometimes we need to just be quiet and just like listen, you know. Everybody, this has been a pleasure being doing this for you guys and always being in front of you guys. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for viewing, and thank you for sharing our content. Thank you for commenting. I am Pimza. This is Ntabi. This is our safe space, and we are out of here. And we'll see you on another. Oh, by the way, the next episode Ntabi is gonna have a guest. Hope you guys are ready for that one. It's gonna be lit. Bye.
Bye.